The HVAC technician had been crawling through the ventilation system of Lakewood University's chemistry building for 3 hours when his flashlight caught something that made his blood run cold. It was November 14th, 2024, and 52-year-old Tom Rodriguez was conducting routine maintenance when he found a human skeleton wedged in a sealed section of ductwork that hadn't been accessed in decades. Within hours, DNA testing would confirm what the small Michigan college town had feared for 17 years. They'd finally found Dr. Sophia Chen, the brilliant chemistry research assistant who vanished from her laboratory on October 19th, 2007. Her experiment notes had been left mid-sentence, her coffee still warm on the lab bench, as if she'd just stepped away. The truth was far darker. She'd been murdered by someone she trusted, someone who'd watched her work every day and couldn't bear to see her succeed. The jealous colleague who sealed her body in the ventilation shaft had gone on to become the department head, walking those same halls for 17 years while his victim's remains lay hidden just above everyone's heads. Tom Rodriguez was an experienced HVAC technician at 52 years old. He'd been working in Michigan for 30 years and knew university building ventilation systems well. Lakewood University conducted comprehensive maintenance every fall semester. On the morning of November 14th, 2024, Tom and his crew had arrived at the chemistry building. The building was constructed in the 1960s, and the ventilation system was old but functional. Tom had climbed into the third-floor ductwork, narrow, dusty, hot. He was illuminating his path with a flashlight and checking connection points. At 2:30 p.m., he came to a sealed section. Plans showed this section had been sealed in the 1980s, an old section, no longer in use. But Tom was curious. He opened the metal cover and looked inside. The first thing he saw was fabric remnants, white, worn, like a laboratory coat. Then bones, a skull, ribs, hand bones. Tom's breath caught. "My God," he whispered. He immediately backed away and grabbed his radio. "Security, Tom here. Chemistry building, third floor ventilation. I found a body. Human remains. Call the police immediately." Campus security was on scene within 15 minutes. Detective Michael Torres from Lakewood Police Department arrived 30 minutes later. Torres was 44 years old, had 18 years of police experience, and had solved many cases in Lakewood's quiet university town. But this would be different. Torres climbed into the ventilation system and looked at the section Tom had found. The skeleton was there, wedged into a narrow duct, remnants of a white laboratory coat, blue jeans underneath, and traces of sneakers. There was a distinct crack on the left side of the skull. Blunt force trauma. "How long has it been here?" Torres asked. The forensic technician said, "Based on bone degradation, at least 10 to 15 years, maybe more." Torres thought. 10 to 15 years. Had there been a missing case at the university back then? The next day, university records were examined. There was a missing case in 2007. Dr. Sophia Chen, 28 years old, chemistry department research assistant, disappeared October 19th, 2007. Torres opened the 2007 file. Detective Paul Stevens had conducted the investigation at the time. Stevens was now retired, but Torres called him. "Sophia Chen," said Stevens, 68 years old. "I never forgot that case. She was a brilliant girl, bright future. Disappeared from the lab one night. We searched everywhere, campus, forest, lake. No trace at all. The family was devastated." "Who did you talk to?" "Department members, students, security guards. Everyone was cooperative. Sophia had no enemies. She was a perfect person." Torres requested DNA comparison. Sophia's family still lived in Michigan. Father Dr. James Chen was a math professor. A reference DNA sample was provided. A week later, results came. Perfect match. The skeleton in the ventilation system was Sophia Chen. Sophia Marie Chen was born in California on August 15, 1979. Her family had immigrated from Taiwan. Sophia had taken an interest in science at a young age. She was intelligent, valedictorian in high school, studied chemistry at UC Berkeley, did graduate work at University of Michigan. She'd received her doctorate in 2005 in polymer chemistry. Her thesis on biodegradable plastics was considered groundbreaking. In 2006, Lakewood University hired her as a research assistant. It was a small university, but perfect for Sophia. Quiet, focused, an environment where she could do her own research. She worked in Laboratory 304, continuing experiments on polymer synthesis. Her goal was to create alternatives to petroleum-based plastics, develop materials less harmful to the environment. By 2007, Sophia was close to a breakthrough. She developed a new polymer formula, strong, flexible, and completely biodegradable. She was about to publish her findings. This could be the pinnacle of her career. But there was something Sophia didn't know. Someone was watching her and was jealous. Dr. Richard Hartwell was a 45-year-old senior chemistry professor. He'd been working at Lakewood since 1985, 22 years. He was a good teacher, but not very successful in research. He'd worked on polymer chemistry for years, published dozens of papers, but none were groundbreaking. His academic career was slow. He'd never received a professorship promotion. When Sophia arrived in 2006, Richard realized everything was changing. This young woman had accomplished in just 2 years what he couldn't in 20. Sophia's research was breathtaking, her experiments elegant, her results consistent. And soon she would publish a paper that would bring national recognition, grants, a career. Richard couldn't bear it. Every night he'd walk past Sophia's laboratory, see the lights on, know she was working inside. Why is she successful and I'm not? He'd think. I've worked for years. I have experience, but this girl comes and steals everything. Jealousy turned to obsession. Richard began reading Sophia's notes from the shared lab notebook. He studied her formulas, and he made a plan. If he could steal Sophia's research, publish it under his own name, he could finally gain recognition and respect. But first, he needed to eliminate Sophia. October 19th, 2007, Friday night. Sophia was working late in Lab 304. She was conducting her final experiments, the critical phase of polymer synthesis. It was approaching 11:30 p.m. The building was empty. Students were home. The security guard was doing an outdoor patrol. Richard was in his office, a few corridors away from Sophia's lab. He waited for hours. Finally, he gathered his courage and walked to Lab 304. He knocked on the door. Sophia turned, surprised. "Dr. Hartwell, what are you doing here at this hour?" Richard smiled. "I saw you working late. How's your research going?" Sophia was kind. "It's going well. I think I've finally found the right formula." "Excellent. May I see?" Sophia hesitated, but Richard was a senior professor. She couldn't refuse. "Sure, come in." Richard looked at Sophia's notes, formulas, results, data. Everything was there. Perfect. It could be stolen, but not while Sophia was here. "Incredible work, Sophia," Richard said. "But you know, I was working on something similar. Part of your formula looks very much like my old notes." Sophia frowned. "What do you mean?" "I mean, maybe this idea came from my research. Maybe we should consider co-authorship." Sophia was shocked. "Dr. Hartwell, this is completely my work. I've never seen your notes." Richard's face darkened. "Are you accusing me?" "No, I've been working at this university for 22 years. You've been here 2 years. And now you're accusing me of theft?" Sophia was scared. "Dr. Hartwell, calm down. There must be a misunderstanding. But Richard didn't calm down. Years of accumulated anger exploded. You ruined everything. My career, my chance. Everyone talks about you, praises you. I became invisible. Richard grabbed a heavy metal laboratory stand. Sophia tried to run, but Richard was faster. He struck her head violently. Sophia fell to the ground, covered in blood, motionless. Richard was panting. He realized what he'd done. Panic. No, no, no. He checked her pulse. There was none. Sophia was dead. Richard stood frozen there for an hour. What would he do? Call the police? No. His career would be over. He'd go to prison. He'd lose everything. Then an idea came. He could hide the body and steal the research. Richard knew the building well. He'd been there for years. He knew about the old ventilation section on the third floor. Sealed in the 1980s, no one used it. Getting there was difficult, but possible. He worked through the night. He carefully carried Sophia's body to the ventilation duct. Narrow, difficult, but he finally positioned her. He put her in the sealed section and closed the metal cover back. Then he returned to lab 304, cleaned the blood, took Sophia's notes, arranged everything. He took Sophia's cell phone from her bag and threw it in a remote corner of campus. By morning, Richard went home, took a shower, and acted like it was a normal day. The next day, Sophia's roommate called police. Sophia hadn't come home. Police came to campus, checked lab 304. It was clean. No blood traces, no signs of struggle. Sophia's bag was in the locker, her keys were there, but Sophia wasn't. Richard was questioned. He looked sad, seemed shocked. Sophia was wonderful, he said. Who would do this? I hope she's found. Detective Stevens saw him as clean. Richard had been there 22 years, was a respected professor, had no history of violence. Weeks passed. Sophia couldn't be found. FBI got involved. Campus-wide search. No trace. The family hired private detectives. Reward fund reached $100,000. No results. And Richard took Sophia's notes, modified them slightly, and published under his own name. The paper was published in 2008. Innovative Synthesis in Biodegradable Polymers, under Richard's name. Recognized as groundbreaking. Received national attention. Richard got grants, spoke at conferences, built a career. In 2010, he was promoted to full professor. In 2015, he became department head. In 2020, he won a University Honor Award. Throughout all this, Sophia's body lay in the third floor ventilation, right above the classrooms where Richard taught every day. Every year on October 19th, campus held a memorial service for Sophia. Richard always attended. He'd give speeches. Sophia was a brilliant mind. Losing her was tragic, but we continue to honor her research. And no one knew Richard had stolen that research. James Chen, Sophia's father, came to every ceremony. He'd talk with Richard. Thank you, Dr. Hartwell. It means so much that you remember Sophia. Richard would smile. I'll never forget Sophia. 17 years passed this way. Richard turned 62. He was thinking about retirement. No one had suspected. But in November 2024, Tom Rodriguez found Sophia in the ventilation system. Detective Torres began working with genealogy specialist Dr. Emily Ross. There was trace DNA on Sophia's bones, probably the killer's skin cells during the attack. A profile was created. Dr. Ross analyzed the DNA and uploaded it to public databases. 4 weeks later, a match came. Third cousin. A family tree was built. In December 2024, a name emerged. Richard Allen Hartwell. Torres wasn't surprised when he read the result. The department head, the respected professor, always there, always remembering Sophia. A court order was obtained. On December 18th, 2024, Torres came to Richard's office. Richard looked innocent, was smiling. "Detective, how can I help?" "Dr. Hartwell, you're under arrest in connection with the murder of Dr. Sophia Chen." Richard's face fell. The smile disappeared. A long silence. Then he bowed his head. "How did you find me?" "DNA. The trace you left in the ventilation duct." Richard laughed bitterly. 17 years. It's finally over." At the station, Richard requested an attorney, but after meeting with his attorney, he decided to confess. "I've lived with her for 17 years, he told Torres. "Every day I entered that building. Every day I taught students. And Sophia was there, right above me. She entered my dreams every night." The confession was detailed. That night, the argument, the attack, hiding the body, everything. "I didn't plan to kill her," Richard said. "I just got angry. Jealousy consumed me. I lost control. But you stole her research." Richard bowed his head. "I know. That's the worst part. I killed her and then profited from her work. Built a career, made money, gained fame. It was all a lie. It was Sophia's work. I just stole it. You attended memorial services. You lied to her family. Every year. I looked at James Chen and lied. I said, 'I remember Sophia.' And he believed me. I'm a monster." Torres asked the question, "Are you remorseful?" Richard cried, "Every second. But remorse won't bring Sophia back. She was young, brilliant, had a future. I took it because ego and jealousy were stronger than me." When the news spread, Lakewood was shocked. Respected professor, department head, award winner, a killer. For 17 years, he'd taught over his victim's corpse. James Chen gave a press statement. His eyes were red, but his voice was firm. "My daughter was 28 years old. She could have changed the world. Richard Hartwell stole her, her life, her research, her future. For 17 years, he hugged me, comforted me, lied to me. I shook hands with my daughter's killer. This betrayal is indescribable." The university issued a statement. All of Richard's titles were revoked. His publications were reviewed. Sophia's research was restored to her, posthumous credit. The trial began in March 2025. Richard was charged with first-degree murder and theft of intellectual property. His attorney tried to negotiate for manslaughter. Prosecutor Jennifer Walsh refused. This man killed his victim, hid the body, and profited for 17 years. Academic theft and murder, both deliberate. The jury deliberated for 6 days. Verdict: guilty, first-degree murder. At the sentencing hearing, James Chen spoke. "Richard Hartwell built his career on my daughter's grave. Literally. Every award, every praise he stole from Sophia. For 17 years, he shed fake tears. This man deserves his punishment." The judge announced the decision. Life in prison, parole possible after 30 years. Richard was 62 years old. He could get out at earliest at 92. When the sentence was announced, Richard stood. "I deserve it," he said. "Sophia didn't deserve it. I wish I could take back time." Lab 304 was renamed the Sophia Chen Research Laboratory. A plaque above the door. Dr. Sophia Chen, 1979 to 2007. Visionary scientist, stolen genius, never forgotten. Every October, the university awards scholarships to young female chemists. James Chen comes to every ceremony. Now he can smile, knowing Sophia's legacy is in the right hands. Detective Torres said in the closing interview, "Killers aren't always in dark alleys. Sometimes they're in academic corridors, respected offices. Richard Hartwell walked over Sophia's body for 17 years. Without technology, we'd never know. And Lakewood is slowly healing. But in Lab 304, students now feel something different, as if someone is watching, protecting, maybe Sophia's spirit, maybe just memory. But science continues. If this story moved you, Please subscribe and hit the like button. Every subscription helps us continue investigating cold cases that families are still waiting to solve. Drop a comment telling us where you're watching from and which unsolved case you'd like us to cover next.